You're listening to a programme from BBC Radio 4.
Now, you may know what glamping is, glamorous camping. But what about champing? Champing is camping in churches. And the charity, the Churches Conservation Trust, came up with the word. They look after hundreds of historic churches right across the UK, some of them no longer in use. The trust needs money, and it started to offer B&B with a difference at 3 churches, one in Kent, one in Northampton, and the latest in East Anglia. Catherine Carr went to visit as staff were preparing that building for its trial run.
The Church of St Cyriac's and St Julittas is perched on top of a hillock in the middle of the village of Swaffham Prior, just out to the east of Cambridge. The air today is full of birdsong and the smell of freshly mown grass. And I've come to the church to see Sian James and her colleague Emily, who are setting up for a batch of champers. Hello. Oh, lovely. Wow, it's huge in here.
Yeah, it's a big echoey space, but we're trying to make it nice and cosy with all the beds and the cushions and things.
So if you could just describe, there's a space in front of me which is square and stone and very light and a bit chilly. What it's going to look like when the people come and sleep tonight.
We're setting up some of the camp beds, and people will be bringing along their own pillows and sleeping bags. We've also got some bean bags, a little rug in the centre, so we're making a little sitting area, and it's going to be really cosy when we've finished with candles and things. So by later on it'll all be set up and be really nice.
And how many people are coming along?
We've got 6 coming along tonight. We're just going to take a walk down to the pub in the village, the Red Lion, and have a nice meal there and come back up here and tell some stories, play some board games and things, have a bit of wine maybe. So, yeah, and we all know each other, so it's a great way to relax, and it's a bit of a team-building experience as well.
Is that sort of the idea behind champing? Would it be teams coming away for a team-building exercise, or families, groups of people that know each other, rather than a B&B where you don't want to be dossing down with strangers?
The people that book the church will have exclusive use, whether it's 2 people or groups of 12, but it would always be a group of people that know each other. And yeah, there's a great atmosphere. This is the 3rd church that I've stayed over in, so you could say I'm a bit of a champing veteran. It's really unusual to be lying there and looking up at the roof of the nave, thinking, wow, I'm sleeping in a church. It's really unusual. Do you want to try this one out? Make sure it doesn't collapse on you. Go on, give it a go, see how comfy it is. It's all about slow tourism, experiencing something local. We try and promote local produce, local activities, and it's just something different, and it's a great way to bring in money for our charity as well. Could you help with this one? It's a bit stiff.
My name is Tom Jones, and I'm the Senior PR Officer at the Churches Conservation Trust. In Swaffham Prior, the church which we're staying in, we've spent nearly £300,000 on upkeep since it was vested in the mid-70s. But even something like the utility bills can run into sort of £1,000 or £2,000 a year in the church. So, I mean, our supporters are very helpful. They gladly give money for the upkeep of buildings that they love, and there's lots of grant-giving bodies and that sort of thing. But there's a limited amount of money we can raise from that, so we really do have to think about other ways, and champing is just one of those ways that we're thinking about new uses for old churches.
This one's quite unusual because it does have its own kitchen and loo, but that certainly doesn't mean we can't do champing where there are no facilities. We have a church in Northamptonshire where there's no water, no electricity, no loo, but we've been really creative in that we can bring in a camping loo, we bring in a camping stove, we have candles and things and camping lanterns.
Can you show me the kitchen? I am curious to see the facilities. Let's have a little look. Oh, yes.
So
it's very Farrow and Ball, it's quite chic, really.
It's nice, isn't it? You've got everything you need here. You've got the kettle, sink and everything. And in the morning, breakfast is brought to the church. The pub are going to do some bacon rolls tomorrow.
The team at the Churches Conservation Trust did invite me to spend the night. Unfortunately, I couldn't. However, I'm going to give this recorder to the team, and they're going to record their experience for me.
OK, so it's 7 o'clock, Catherine's gone and she's left us with a voice recorder, and we're going to go and have some dinner.
Can we have a pint of your Wildwood cider, please?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm a big fan of the mountain bothies of Scotland, and I think staying in a church is a similar sort of experience for that, really in tune with the sort of natural world, but also seeing the fabulous architecture and learning the histories of the building. I think it's going to be great. We've got some Fenland folk tales that we'll be telling during the night, and and to get a chance to, live life as my ancestors would have done, walk out by foot to the local pub for dinner and then come back and go to bed by candlelight. Really magical experience. And ever since that day, the land on Methwold Fen has been called the Methwold Severals. And ever since that day, it has been farmed by a porter.
Oh, it's 12 o'clock here and we've had a really good night champing, so I'm going to blow the candles out and have a good night's sleep and dream about our bacon butties in the morning.
It's 7 a.m. The sun's up, it's a beautiful day, the birds are singing, and I've left the others asleep and come out for a cup of tea in the churchyard, which is lovely. Sun's on the tower and the trees, and looking forward to going for a nice walk after breakfast.
Well, some of our more traditional supporters have perhaps been a little bit more reluctant about the idea of using their church for this than others, but the ones at the churches which we are using are very supportive. And indeed, people have, for hundreds of years, slept in churches, especially sort of pilgrims, walking the pilgrim's way, although we sort of discourage that and prefer them to use our churches for champing as we're making available.
Who wants a cup of tea?
Yes. Champers in East Anglia, and David Savage has emailed to say, as a City of London guide lecturer since 1999, the thought of sleeping under the roofs of historic churches really appeals to me. Now, is the future no longer orange? Sales of fake tan fell by a fifth